Hello stamping friends, welcome back to card number 5 in the January 2015 online card class. We're going to be putting this card together, and remember we're using the thanks from card number 4, so you'll have that already done. And we're using Crazy About You stamp set as we've talked about in the other videos. I need to correct something on video number 4. I told you there would be a little piece of white scrap paper with your card. That was so silly. You receive in the kit, you receive a half a sheet of the black, basic black, and a half a sheet of the Whisper White. This is what you'll be using. You won't be getting a little scrap of paper. I had a scrap ready for the video so that I would be able to use it. So I realized what I did. The pieces for card number 5, of course, you get your envelope. You will get a piece of Blackberry Bliss, a piece of Whisper White, and your crumb cake card base. I have already embossed this with the lovely lace embossing folder. I want to take my Whisper White, and I am using the stamp that says, "Just saying." I love that saying, so we're using it for this card. So I'm just going to use "Just saying," and I'm going to just stamp it at the bottom of my piece. And then I'm going to take the word window punch. Now, if you don't have this punch, you could just cut it straight. It would just be just like I did in card number 4, where I just cut it with the scissors. So don't stress about it. But the word window punch fits a lot of these stamps. And if you know me at all, you know how much I love using punches. All right, so the technique for this card is kind of the same technique that we used on card number 4. We're going to be dragging the ink across our stamp, okay? And I haven't already inked this. This is where I told you that it does stain your stamp. So I'm just going to drag it across, and then I'm going to stamp. How pretty is that? Okay, so it just gives you I don't know, like a watercolored look. So now I'm going to just take my snips and I'm going to cut this out. Okay, all done. I sped up the video so that you didn't have to watch me do all the cutting, but I wanted to point out to you that where I lifted that pad up, there was some globs of ink. So I just went in and blotted it, okay? I wasn't able to hold the flower, and I had forgotten to mention that before I actually started cutting. So that's all I was doing when I stopped and grabbed a tissue and just blotted it. So if that happens to you, just do the same thing. All right, let's put our card together. And you know from previous videos that we like to use the multi-purpose liquid glue to, I don't know, which side do I want? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go with this side. I don't want my cards to ever fall apart, so that's why I really, really like the liquid glue on the embossed cardstock. So we're going to layer this here. And since we're putting it on, I'm going to go ahead and put this layer on first. If I'm doing smooth cardstock to smooth cardstock, I can use snail. Okay. And because we're putting smooth cardstock onto textured, we're going to use some glue, liquid glue. And if you use too much, it'll squish out. So now I decide, yep, I want it like this. Okay, I'll set that aside and get my thanks out. And get my, see how many times I've used this silicone mat? I mean, it's like second nature. I grab it all the time. All right, so put some glue on there. I'm just putting dots on. I could have stapled it on, couldn't I, if I wanted to? Whoops. Piece of wax paper from cutting it out. And like I said, the Tombow glue will dry, so you don't have to worry about, whoops, stuck to my fingers. Okay, let's try that again. Now my fingers are very sticky. For those of you that are new to my videos, and that's all gonna dry, when I have sticky fingers and I'm in the middle of doing something and I don't want to stop and wash my hands, I just use a hand sanitizer and it takes that stickiness off so that I can keep on going. All right, so now we have our little Just Saying, and we're going to put some glue on there. And we want it over here. Just saying thanks. There is our card. Isn't that fun? So like I have a watercolored flower technique. So, all right, come back for the last video in this series.